I'm Rob, and today we're at the Hampshire village of Holtpound at the Ball Wicket. Now, the Ball Wicket is a 20th century pub, but it's on the site of former pubs, and former names for this pub have been the Molly Millers, the Merry Monks, the Forest Inn and the New Forest Inn. And at one time it was completely refurbished, ready to open, and then people got in and vandalised the whole place. But now in 2023 it's looking resplendent. From the pub garden you'll see there's a sign which points out across this field, and we walk diagonally across the field. This field is called the Oval, and it's seen Surrey County cricket matches played on it. It was a cricket field from the 18th century, I think it was 1729, right up to 1922. And it was home to the Recreational cricket club. And it's quite funny actually. Recreational is a village locally, and it's reputed to be populated with drunkenness and vice. I don't know if that's the same these days. They used to play for a pint or a pot, which generally meant that the losers would buy the rounds. We're heading for the Kissing Gate, and we're going to emerge from the Oval out onto a country lane where we turn left. And you can see an oast house through there. It was as famous for growing hops as Kent at one time, this part of Hampshire. That's clearly residential now. And at the farm, the path carries on at the edge of the woods. It's a little bit sticky still this time of year, and we're coming up to the railway bridge. Now, the bridge carries what is now a very long branch line. It's the Alton line. It runs from the southwest main line at Brookwood down to Alton, and it terminates at Alton. But it wasn't always that way. It carried on originally. It was built in 1852, and it would have carried on what is now the Watercress line through to Alresford, and then beyond Alresford it would go on into Winchester. So it's kind of like a loop line previously, but now, as I say, it's a very long branch line and it terminates at Alton. And we continue to the left to run parallel to the railway line. So just pop down to the bridge for a view of the River Wey, and this is the Hampshire branch of the River Wey. It rises near Alton, and it joins the main River Wey at Tilford, and that then joins the River Thames. There is a Sussex Way which also joins the main River Wey, and that rises near Hazelmere. It's 80 odd miles long. A bit difficult to tell with the tributaries. I think it's 87 miles long. Its quality is not as good as many of the Hampshire chalk streams. At best it's moderate. Also in the 17th and 18th centuries, parts of the Wey were developed into a navigation or canal. So we've made our way back up from the bridge, and we're carrying on. Look at the molehills over there. Oh, another train. And we're carrying on along this path parallel to the railway. And over the other side of the river valley there's Northbrook House and Northbrook Farm, and that busy road is the A31, and that was one of the main routes to London prior to the motorway. So you can see the River Wey winding through the valley here on its way through Farnham. hopefully spring's not too far away, the catkins are out. It's very pleasant now, the sun's come out and we're right by the riverside. That's a perfect example of an oxbow lake beginning to form. And we emerge out onto a lane at Bentley Mill. Now Bentley Mill was previously known as Groveland's Mill and even Turk's Mill. It's 17th century, it's Grade 2 listed. It's one of around 40 mills that were on the River Wey, but now it's a very nice bed and breakfast. A31 to our right, but we are turning on this pathway here to the left for a short distance before picking up another pathway on the left. And we cross this stile to walk across the field. Continue into the woodland and you can see a gate there, so you've got to cross the railway. So stop, look and listen on that one, I think. As I say, stop, look and listen. So nothing coming that way. Nothing coming that way. Keep checking and cross. Once safely across, you carry on the well-defined path through the woods. Mossy stems of grass. It's like a miniature forest. And keep to the right. And we emerge from the woods onto the lane and we turn left. And the lane is called Gravel Hill Road. If you carry on up here, you've got JCB on your left and the Forest Research Centre, which we'll talk more about later, on the right. But in the meantime, we're going to take this broad track veering off at an angle to the right. And there's the Alice Holt arboretum to the right. Different species of trees there growing. But we continue straight on. And by the big conifer and arboretum sign, we turn left onto the tarmac path by the pond, which is the Shipwright's Way. So the Shipwright's Way that we're on now, it was founded to commemorate the forests that made the Royal Navy back in the 17th and 18th centuries. And it starts here in Alice Holt near Bentley, and it runs for 50 miles through Alice Holt Forest, down through the Hampshire countryside, through the old Forest of Beer, finishing at the historic dockyard in Portsmouth. It's a very nice route. I've done several parts of it on different walks. Yeah, it might be worth doing it all in one if you're into long distance paths. We're now entering Great Lodge Park, which is a very old estate, first recorded in 1530, and then a new big house was built in 1816, and it now belongs to the Forestry Commission as their Alice Holt Research Centre. Now our path carries straight on, but I've got special permission to go and have a chat with the Forestry Commission people. It's not open to the public, so enjoy a virtual visit with me on here. As you can see, there's the old house from 1816 over there. So the Forestry Research Centre was founded in 1946. There's liquid argon in that cupboard, by the way. One of my customers, as was. And it's grown with considerable development, and we're going to find out more. Well, that's unfortunate. I had someone lined up to talk to us, but they're not about. Anyway, what they do in here, they look into sustainability. They're a lab, obviously. They look at pathogens and pests that affect trees, and they look at different species of trees. They have an arboretum, and generally protect our woodlands. Anyway, I'll head back to the Shipwrights Way and continue with the walk. So, a bit disappointing, but there you go, to pick up from where we left off. It's turned into a lovely watery sunlit day. Keep your eyes open for the posts, the Shipwrights Way. This is the main Farnham to Borden road, and we have to cross to the other side. And we're leaving behind the scientific part of Alice Holt Forest now to go into the part that's used for leisure. As you see on this side of the road, Alice Holt Forest has a cafe, walking trails, cycle trails, children's play areas and a go ape. This part of Alice Holt, as I say, it's very light, very recreational, very plantation style with the pines. But the history of this site actually goes back to 5,500 BC, in the lower Paleolithic times. There's been forest here all that time. It carried on, it became a hunting forest, and then in the 18th century and the 19th century it was almost wiped out by the need for good solid timber, hearts of oak for the Royal Navy. Since then it's been built up again. Thankfully ships then became made of metal, gave it a chance to recover, and in 1924 the Forestry Commission took over, and as I say, they use this bit for recreation, a little bit of timber and research over the other side. It was actually enclosed in 1812. We keep forward. All the visitor centre and everything is over to the right hand side, but we're just skirting the sort of western edge of the forest. It's a working forest, sustainably worked, so you'll come across these timber piles. And we ignore all the side paths and we just keep on along this broad gravel trail. Hello! When you reach the bend with the big fir on it, a little bit of a ditch there, you take this minor path off to the left. And this little path broadens out onto this path and will lead us back out into the village of Holtpound. So I've got to admit, this is my first time in Alice Holt Forest, and one thing that surprises me, maybe it's only the little bit that I've walked in, certainly over this side of the road. The other side of the road's a different matter, as it's the sort of scientific side, but this side is the lack of diversity. It is mostly plantation pine. And I compare that to Stoke Park, which is my local woodland, which is very diverse with yew trees and beech and oak and lime, as well as all the pines and other things. But yeah, but still a very, very pleasant place to come for a walk. Even this time of year it's not too bad mud-wise. You're not going to sink up to your knees. Stout pair of boots or wellies, you'll be fine. And there we are. This gate leads us out into the village. So once into the village of Holtpound, come out onto the road and we turn right. Lovely long gardens as the path wends its way down between them. And up by the old kiln farm there's some horses grazing. And here we are again, right back at the Ball Wicket. So here we are, that was a great walk. It's roughly 5 miles. We're back at the Ball Wicket now. If you like the walk then please like and subscribe. But now I think I'm ready for lunch. Let's go in.